Hello, I'm Janet Messer, Nexus Coordinator and Outsource CCO with AdvisorLaw, and I'd be happy to run you through a Nexus demo today.
Hi, thanks so much. First, could you tell me a little bit about Nexus, like who owns it and why you guys use it?
I'd be happy to. Nexus comes from a Denver-based broker-dealer, Genios Wealth Management, whose tech arm, Gentech LLC, created Nexus as their BD supervision platform. Michelle Atlas, the managing attorney for AdvisorLaw's RIA division, used to work at Genios, as did I, and was sharing her frustration with her former colleagues that a lot of the RIA compliance platforms out there lack the actual functionality needed to drive compliance reviews. So Genios offered to modify Nexus for AdvisorLaw. That's where I come in. I've been using Nexus for over a decade, so Michelle persuaded me to join the team and spearhead the integration. And we're delighted to say that Nexus brings together all components of the RIA compliance program into one space with significant automation to both improve accuracy and efficiency.
All right, great.
I'd be happy to show you a little demo today. I do apologize. Some of the screens are not populated because it's just a demo advisor and clients. So they're manually entered and we can't feed in trade data that way.
All right.
So I'm going to switch over to Nexus for you real quick. All right. So when you first log into Nexus, so Nexus organizes, stores, and integrates your unique compliance program into one unified record system with customized automatizations and workflows that simplify the oversight process. Each seat in Nexus includes all of the features I'm going to show you today. But today our roles are or the role we're going to focus on is going to be from the CCO perspective. So when you first log in, this is what you're going to see. On your home page, you have Compliance Central. This is where you're going to get the vast majority of your notifications, letting you know that you have trades that require review. We can set up reminders to have you review your blotters, your standard blotters, such as your customer complaint blotter or your checks blotter, gifts blotters, along with other notifications that you'd like us to turn on for you. Anything in Compliance Central that needs action, you just double click on it. It takes you directly to that area of Nexus. So you don't have to remember where you have to click for everything. It'll take you right there. We also have Nexus News over here on the right. With Nexus News, AdvisorLaw is able to send out blast notifications to everybody who is a user on Nexus, let you know of regulatory changes coming down the pike, remind you of your annual ADV filings and items of that nature. We're also working on a calendar integration that will bring all of your tasks onto this home page in a nice little calendar view. So you can scroll through what items are pending for the year and get a good gauge of what your calendar looks like throughout the year. Then we move on to accounts. Under accounts, we have the capability to feed in your custodial data. With that, we are able to do the trade review and do any kind of performance review or investment profile review. So if we look in here, we can see that this client here has information down here according to their investment profile. Looks like this client hasn't been filled out, but all we have to do is choose these items. And then it feeds the rest of the information in from the custodian. You've got address, the owner information's here. If there's multiple owners, you can click through each owner. It'll show you what accounts they have. And then here we're able to see customer documents that may be pulled into Nexus, along with the trades and the holdings. Another nice thing is if you have email archiving set up, you're able to see the client emails on this screen, as long as under the owners tab, we have an email address listed here.
All right, that's interesting. How do you get all the information into Nexus?
So during our intro call with you, we will collect some information regarding your custodians, what firms you're using, and then we will send you instructions on how to establish that data feed. The big custodians, Schwab, TD, Fidelity, we have a data feed already established with. So it's a simple online form for all of them where you complete it. We provide you the information for Gentech, as stated before, as the creator. They're the contact that they would work with, and they send the data over. It's a secure data feed, and everything with Gentech is secured, so your customer information is safe.
Am I doing that data entry or are you guys doing it?
The data entry is included in your onboarding cost. So we will actually work with you after the data starts to feed in. We will see what items might be missing. Some of the custodians don't feed over certain items: date of birth, employment information, their citizenship status, and investment profile information, since that's not housed at the custodian. Those items will work with you to get that information. And then we will, once we retrieve that from you, we will manually update all of your client records for you as part of that onboarding process.
All right. So do we need to integrate my other providers, like let's say Orion?
You don't need to. We currently do not have a data feed with Orion per se, but we do have an integration with Redtail CRM. So if you're utilizing Redtail, there is definitely an option to integrate that with Nexus along with your custodian data feed, and we'd be able to potentially complete all of the missing data points simply by using those two feeds. If we find a need down the road to attach or to feed in data from Orion or maybe Riskalyze, that is something we can definitely work with Gentech and talk about getting that integration created.
All right. So can I also store my client documents, like my advisory agreement in here?
You can. Through our workflow system, you're allowed to attach documents. Also, through a lot of our blotters, you're able to attach documents. And whenever you attach a document and you affiliate a customer account number or a customer record to it, it will feed it in, and you actually would be able to see any documents in this system here. So when you're looking at a customer record, you can go in here, see if you've got any advisory agreements you'd like to look at. You can double click on them and download them, and you have them to view.
Right. So tell me a little bit about these blotters.
So moving on to the next item, we have three different types of blotters. We have our standard blotter. It's pretty much a electronic spreadsheet, but it's less likely to be deleted. One of the big items that I run across when talking to clients is that a lot of clients don't have customer complaints, and so we all recommend to just keep a blank customer complaint file saved. Well, the likelihood of having a blank spreadsheet saved on a shared drive or on your desktop getting accidentally deleted is high. So we've created the customer complaint blotter where you're able to review it, we're able to set up a reminder, and then you can go in here, look at it, go through your quarter or however frequently you'd like it, go through all your customer interactions, make sure you don't have any complaints. If you do, log them, and if you don't, you have the capability of clicking a button at the bottom for nothing to blotter. And when you do that, it shows that you're proactively thinking about it. So when you go through an exam and they ask for your customer complaint file, you can export this list and you can show that you're proactively looking at it, and that you're logging that in that review you had nothing in that period to blotter. We also have the smart blotter. This is one of the screens where there's not any data since we're not receiving trades. But with this, the smart blotter reviews all trades. Every trade that's fed into the system is reviewed against our rules engine. And all trades will show here. So you're able to look at any ones that you want to look at, but it'll auto approve anything that doesn't flag in the rule sets. It is color coded, red being most important, yellow being medium importance, and gray being auto approved and ready for release. All trades that are ready to go, no matter how many, you can click the approve all eligible button and they all go away at once, which is nice. You don't have to click on every single one. You're also able to add notes to any blotter item that requires attention by the CCO, and those notes are either affiliated to the customer record, they're account specific, or if it's a higher level rule that it's reviewing, not trade on account specific, it will attach it to the customer record and follow it across all accounts with that social security number. And that takes us to the compliance blotter. This one here actually has some information, so you're able to see what it looks like. These are all notices that are for training. But with this, it will do things like training required. So the CCO knows if someone hasn't done their training. We can set up notifications to let you know if they haven't done their attestations for the year. It does also automate your investment profile review. It'll look at customer holdings, and it'll look for anything that's outside the parameters for the performance of the investment objectives the client has, and it'll trigger those for you to review. It'll also do access person trade review, look for front running and things of that nature. We can also set up a notification for any restricted securities, and those would populate in your compliance blotter.
All right. So I understand the platform also has email archiving.
Yes. So under supervisory, we do have an email archive option. It allows not only archiving, but the review, and it simplifies the review features. So all you have to do in order to get the email into Nexus is set up a simple journaling rule with your email host, which during your onboarding, your initial onboarding call, we'll discuss who that is, and we'll provide instructions if we have them on hand. Most companies out there are using Microsoft or Google, and we definitely have instructions for both of those. And so once the emails are feeding in, Nexus will do an automated review of those also. We have an entire lexicon created with all the keywords that you should be watching for. So it reduces the time you spend doing keyword searches, because it's doing that automatically and will notify you if an email contains a keyword. It also will auto review emails. It'll scrub out spam. If you find something that is never going to be customer related and you don't want to see it, you're able to ignore entire domains. So if something is feeding through that you don't want in your review, you just click a little ignore button on the side here, and it'll send it over to the Nexus admins to approve. And once it's approved, you won't see those emails in your approval queue any longer. The other nice thing is once you've reviewed and approved your emails, you can go in here at any time, pull specific emails, and do a full report and export if necessary of any emails that you need to review, or just see what you reviewed.
All right. So how does the reporting work in Nexus?
So reporting is pretty basic. We've got all the reports that you need for any information that's housed inside of Nexus. There is also a report builder option. So you can go in there, and through that, you can refine a report or create a report according to the different fields that Nexus contains. And if neither one of them satisfy, we can always reach out to Gentech and ask them to create something for us.
All right. So how do things move forward in the system? If I need to get something to you, or how does that work?
So then the way you're going to communicate with the team as a whole is through the workflow console. So in the workflow console, we're able to create tickets. I think of it as a more transparent email. You're able to go in, create an item, and then it sends it to your team. Anything that you create will automatically link your compliance analyst to it, and they will get notification in an email that there's something out there for them to review. You can ask them questions. You formulate it just like you would an email. Your RE field is your subject. Your details are going to be what your question is. And then you have an entire section of notes where you guys can go back and forth and communicate. You can attach documents here. All documents attached to a ticket are archived and meet your books and records requirements. And again, if you're discussing anything that has to do with a client, you can affiliate the client and their account number if you need to. And then anything affiliated with this ticket will show up on your customer record.
So is this the method that I would use to, for example, submit ads or things for social media?
Yes, absolutely. So we have a marketing ticket type. So what you would do is when you have a newsletter or something of that nature that you want us to review, all you do is open a ticket under marketing review, attach your marketing documents, add a note in the details section, and send it on over. It'll immediately notify your compliance analyst, and then they can review the document. The nice thing about that is everything that's typed in the notes section, it cannot be deleted, it cannot be modified. So it's a full archive of the communication back and forth in the approval of the item.
So since this is so customizable, does that mean I'm not going to need to have papers anymore?
No,
Spreadsheet paper?
you shouldn't. There's a lot of this that we can incorporate in. You can scan documents and then house them in Nexus as your archive. When it comes to any spreadsheets, if you can think of a spreadsheet that you have that's not in the standard blotters, we can request it to be built by Gentech. They're pretty simple, pretty easy. Anything that you can think of that you can attach to an item will be archived. So you can go as far into this with attaching documents as you'd like and get out of having any physical paper. You're also able to, with Nexus, we have an electronic form section where you're able to have attestations created. So there's no longer a need to pass paper between your access persons for things like their outside business activities or their code of ethics attestations every year. We can have everybody log into Nexus and then answer some simple questions here. And then those answers go to you as CCO for your review and approval.
So since everything is going to be inside the system, tell me what happens when the regulators come and they want to see it all. How does that work?
So whenever whenever a regulator comes to you with an exam or any other requests, we have a heightened audit response with Gentech. So all you have to do is let your team know that you're going through an exam and that you need information out of Nexus. Provide us with the list of items that the examiner is asking for. We send it over to Gentech and they will generate the information for us. We don't have to go in and pull reports or do any of that. They will do it 100% for us. When it comes back, I'll work with your team to make sure that the information that they've provided to us is exactly what the regulator's looking for, no more and no less. And then once it's satisfactory, then you can send it on to the regulator.
All right. So that there's an awful lot in here. Do you have a customer support or chat line where I could get help if I needed it?
Actually, you would call us directly. So you would work with Chris Cross or myself directly, and we would work with you on anything that you need. There is no additional customer service costs or whatnot, just in your monthly fee for Nexus, you have access to us, and we would be glad to help you out with anything and pass any development requests up to Gentech for you.
All right. The platform seems terrific. Could I buy just the seats to Nexus and no compliance support?
Unfortunately, no. Right now, we don't offer Nexus freestanding. But for AdvisorLaw clients, we are passing it through at cost. So there's no upcharge on it. It's just so that we can help with your compliance and ensuring that ensuring that we can do everything we can do for you.
All right, so here's my last question. Can you tell me why Nexus is a good idea for my smaller RIA? I'm not managing a lot of people.
I think the primary driver here is peace of mind. We're going to build you a custom compliance program, and with that, we can put a lot of that custom compliance into Nexus. It'll give you reminders. You'll have oversight. We'll be able to watch what's going on and jump in and help you whenever you need it. And that peace of mind is paramount when you're working on, especially with a small firm where you may not know what is coming down the pike and everything. We will be able to help you with that, guide you through it, and make sure that everything that we're doing through Nexus, you're doing it and meeting the regulatory requirements.
Well, I'd sleep better at night with that for sure. All right. Well, thank you for your time. That was very helpful.
You're very welcome. It was great talking to you today.
All right. Bye-bye.